Welcome to the XR Magazine podcast. Dive deep with us into the mesmerizing world of immersive tech, where we bring you conversations with the trailblazers of XR, AI, and spatial computing. If you're curious about what's on the horizon and eager to be inspired, you're in the right place. Tune in and let's explore the digital frontier together. Today we're speaking with Ryon Harding, who is the founder of Magic Portal Books. She's originally an artist who became eventually an electrical and computing engineer. After a long career in innovation strategy for corporate America, she decided to combine her talents and is now an inventor. She is the founder and CEO of Magic Portal Books, a new children's books designed to completely reinvent education. For this purpose, she uses augmented reality and other immersive technologies to bring these type of resources to more children. I can't wait to begin this amazing episode. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Ryon, for being here today. Please let us know a little bit of your background and your amazing story.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. My story is, it's kind of a long one, so I'll try to make it short for you. I'm an artist. As a kid, my mom was an artist, and I always drew and loved illustration and drawing. But I didn't want to go into art as a career because I didn't want to be a starving artist. So I went into engineering. And you're an engineer too, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm electrical engineer and
Wow.
computer.
Such a coincidence. Amazing.
So and as part of that in college, I had to put myself through college and work, and a couple of my jobs were in video production, and I loved video production and animation. And that's at the time when computers were starting to get better at doing 3D modeling and animation. This is early 90s kind of time frame. And but I ended up going into engineering, graduating from college, and went to work in corporate America. So I did some engineering for a little while, and then I got my MBA at the University of Arizona here in Tucson, and moved to Vermont, of all places. Speaking of Winnipeg, Vermont is cold, long, dark winters as well. And at IBM, they have a fantastic master inventor program, and they really will take young engineers under their wing and show them the ropes of inventing and the invention process. And at IBM, it's quite lucrative to be an inventor because there are a lot of awards associated with it. And the project that I was working on got cut, and so did I and many others of us. It's the way things are. And so I went to work for a firm still in Vermont, but doing patents. And so I learned a lot about the patent system, and I became a registered patent agent. And I went back to IBM and worked with the inventors in that capacity. So I was helping them look at future problems and things that where technologies hadn't really come to fruition or hadn't fully developed, but were on the horizon. And how do you take those technologies to use to solve problems that may arise in the future? And so that process of, I always called it the evolution of technology, right? You've got problems and solutions and problems and solutions. And if you think about it far enough out, you'll come up with problems and solutions that don't yet exist that are patentable, right? You can explain it enough to be a patent. And so that piece of, that really triggered my love of innovation and new technology. And I bounced around from different corporate. I was at IBM and Coca-Cola, and then ended up at TiVo, which is no longer, but they invented the DVR back in 1999 and then never anything else again, ever. So they had hired me to go help, work with the engineering teams and kind of develop these new technologies and new products for media and entertainment in the future. What does media and entertainment look like in the future? And so, of course, part of my research in all of that was XR, right? As a very immersive, very different, very, no limitations type of immersive entertainment for the purpose of media. And so, I became fascinated with it. And then there was web-based AR and VR and all that XR that's web-based. So I didn't have to know how to code. And so that, that was all well and good. My mom she was a retired school teacher and also an artist. And she started doing kids' books way back in the 90s. And so she would write these books, and she liked the way that I drew. She liked my drawings. So I would illustrate them for her. And so, but, that I didn't think anything of it. I liked drawing, but I wasn't going to make a business out of doing illustrations. And so as she and I were continuing to just work on books, in my infinite amount of free time, I started thinking about, gosh, there's millions of kids' books out there. How do you differentiate a kid's book? And in addition to that, because she's a teacher, she wanted them to be very educational. And so her books were for kids, but they'd end up like a textbook. They're so long and they get dry and boring. And I thought there's got to be a better way to put all that education material in there, but not in the words, right? So there's enough of the story that keeps the kids interested and they like the story and the characters, but there needs to be some other way for that educational piece to be in there. Plus, how do you differentiate amongst all those other books? And then I had a newsletter show up in my email at TiVo one day, and it was the 10 best kids books with AR. And I thought, oh, that's what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So that allows me to put educational content in a fun, interactive way into the books, but also have the books and keep them as stories and be able to illustrate, and do all of that piece of it. And they're differentiated. So there aren't any other books like mine exactly, because the ones that do have AR, they're all app-based, and it's not every page that's completely immersive like mine are. So I can show you, if we do a screen share, I can show you what some of the experiences look like.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, you want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. All right, I'm going to screen share. Let me know when you can you see the screen here? Yeah. Okay, so I use a web-based platform. It's called Awe Media, and they are out of Australia. And so I can create this whole 360 view, and I can put my animations, I can put little icons, I put text in there, and I go and I take these 360 pictures, and there's sound and stuff that goes with it. So you won't be able to really hear it. But this is what you see when you scan the pages in the book with your device, with just a phone. It takes you to this web page, and you can tap on the icons, and there's sound effects, and it shows you the names in this particular one, what everything is. And you can click on the little quail here, and so you probably can't hear the sound of it, but she's talking, she'll go through the video. If you have some questions, it tells you how to maneuver. So this is kind of the landing page, and then you'd go to the scan icon here. And then you can go to any other page. Let's see. There's all of these different ones. Oh, let's go to the grotto. This is a fun one for the 360 as well. I think we're struggling a little bit with bandwidth because I'm streaming so much. But now you're standing in this grotto of all of these petroglyphs. So each one of all of these are paintings on the wall, and there's, you can see the background here, and you can, oops, let me put it in preview mode. Here we go. So it gives you little information about it. And then you can click here. Now this is a 3D model that I was able to put in here of this actual pictographs. So you can really see the details in here of that. And you can click on, the character will tell you about that particular, at that place. So every single, I'll stop sharing, and then, do you have any questions so far?
It really, really looks amazing because I haven't seen an experience like that is so immersive. It's 360. On top of that, actually, when we take a look, we wonder how does it actually work? Like you see it in the book, and then you would use your tablet or your phone
Right.
to access that experience. Is that correct?
Yep. So it's just a little QR code, and each book has its own code, and then it uses image-based recognition. So the image then, so here's some pictures in the book here. When it recognizes each page, it would go to one of those scenes that I showed you in there. So every single page is something different. And you just do it all with your phone. You don't need, a VR headset or AR glasses or anything else. It's just web-based. So there's no apps to download because I couldn't code them, but I could do everything else.
Wow. That sounds amazing because actually one of the questions that I was gonna formulate was the technology stack that you needed to create your AR experiences for the book. But it seems you're super resourceful, you chose the right platform, it actually fixed some of the problems that sometimes we face and not wanting to download apps. Personally, myself, I don't like to have to download apps all the time because now I end up with so many apps and I never use them. So it's not practical,
Right.
to be honest. Apps are not so practical. But these experiences that are web-based are way more useful for people.
I think it's easier. Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, I don't have to maintain apps, right? And every time iOS or Android changes and my app breaks and I have to pay someone to fix it, now I don't.
Yeah, that's amazing. And in terms of creating the story itself, plus how it interacts the story, how it merges with the technology. How do you do that? How do you balance that?
Right, right. So the stories stand on their own. So you could just read this as a regular storybook. It's a mystery. Uh, this little quail, they're all excited to go to Slide Rock, which is in Sedona, Arizona, and it's a very fun place. So when you bring the kids to Arizona, you got to go to Slide Rock. Um, and her little sister wakes up and she's missing her top knot. That's the little feather at the top. And so they're on a hunt to go retrace their steps all over Sedona to see where her little top knot is. So in the book, I talk about all of the different rocks that are in Sedona, and it has things about Sedona that make Sedona special, right? Sedona is very metaphysical. They have vortexes, they have psychics and crystals, and beautiful red rock formations, and a rich history of both Native American and then the pioneers that settled there. And so the story is more for kids. It's your typical kind of bedtime story or anytime story, but it's weaving in different pieces of Sedona. Then in the technology piece, I can dive down into what is a vortex, right? And it's fascinating for me because how do you explain something that's metaphysical? And as I do research, I can present both sides. Some people feel that vortexes have energy for healing or for finding answers. And other schools of thought believe that they are sitting on giant quartz deposits. Well, of course, quartz, it has piezoelectric properties, right? So that's, if you apply electrical current to it, it's going to vibrate 32,768 times a second. But alternatively, if you shift the structure of it, it actually gives off energy. So it was fun and I have that one as one of the scenes that you're looking around. Let me pull it up here and we'll do a screen share again so I can show it to you. But it was neat to be able to put all of the, let's see, vortexes. Where are you? All right. So let me put it in preview mode here. All right. So now we are at Boynton Canyon, which is one of the famous vortexes. And here's our little quail. And then you can just click on all of these and it's going to tell you about crystals, that it's, that it results from a large deposit of crystals. And you're learning this is an amethyst crystal and that it's made of silicon dioxide, some different types of it, the piezoelectric with some pronunciations, and talking about, the quartz crystals, right? 32,768. And then questions in here, right? If you used it to tell time, how many times would it vibrate to equal 1 second? So they can have fun playing with the answers. There's all sound effects to them. And this is talking about emitting the electrical current. So it was really fun to create, from Sedona and the vortexes, and then also have this science aspect of it that I could do.
Yeah, I see. Exciting, because I see a little bit of your background reflected there, right? Like the engineering background a little bit there, the science side, plus the educational side that you have naturally. So that's a great combination. And of course, it's a great opportunity to learn in these different ways that nowadays we have all of these resources. So what had been, it seems so, honestly sounds amazing and looks amazing. But what have been challenges that you found behind the scenes to bring this to life? Because of course
uh,
there are always difficulties.
yes, there's always challenges. I have overcome a lot of them. I still have a long ways to go. So I would say some of the major things to overcome are, when you look at this, it looks like a book, right? um, when I sell it wholesale at local shops, right? It's a book about Sedona. They love it. It's for touristy shops. Or this one is the Sherman book about Tucson, right? Um, these are, and they put them with the rest of the books. These are $30 books, right? So your normal, yeah, a hardcover book is maybe $20 at the most, right? So I have that to overcome, right? People who don't know, and most people don't know because
Mhm,
not all books have this. I think someday they all will, but
mhm,
until then, um, so that's one hard thing to overcome, is to how do I let people know the value that
mhm,
this isn't just a book. It's a
mhm,
book and a teacher and a science experiment and videos and, questions and answers and discussion points and all in one, right? So that's been one thing that I'm still working to overcome. Kids know what to do with it, right? They
mhm,
know exactly what to do with QR codes and phones. And so they have no problem, and they will immediately key in on finding the little character and tapping on it and playing, which plays the video, and they'll tap on everything, and they'll, sound effects, etc. So they don't have the problems, but they don't have the money either. So it's the
mhm,
parents I have to convince. At first, I, had focused on Sherman, the Tucson tortoise, and Sedona. So I was focusing on places. But kids, no kid says, "Oh, I'm really into Arizona." They say, "I'm into dinosaurs or mermaids or outer space or sharks or something," but usually not a place. So um, so I'm having to shift, a little bit there, and turn to build the brand as more Magic Portal books. They all have this interactive piece, but I will make the stories maybe a little bit more towards mystery and treasure hunting and creative problem solving, and not so much about that actual place. So we'll see how that works. Um, so I think, the price point's been hard, teaching people that they're, what to do with a book that looks like a book but isn't a book. Um, so those things have been my biggest challenge. And then, the problem that everyone has, right? We, as business owners trying to sell a product, we're competing with everyone else, 8 billion other people trying to sell products. And how do you compete with all that noise? And how do you get the word out there to people? And so, honestly, word of mouth is going to be my best, right? So if parents buy the books, or grandparent buys a book for the kids, right? And the parents like it and say, wow, and then they look in the back and they see, oh, they've got other books, right? Then I can, so here's the 2 books we have so far.
mhm. Yeah, beautiful.
Maybe, right, they'll get online and continue to buy books in the series. Or parents that buy them for their kids' friends' birthday parties, right? A lot of parents like to give books as presents. So that might be kind of a way to do it as well. So that those are challenges I'm still working towards. But another fun thing, because it wasn't complicated enough. So you can buy. I'm making more magic portals, and the kids can collect the stickers. So here's an example of one that I have. So it's just another QR code, but it can go in the back of the book. And when you scan this code and then put your phone over each page in the book, it's a different experience with the same book. So, can kind of think of like a DVD. This is a DVD player. I'm going to go way back. And then you can buy other DVDs to play in it, right? Or I think the Tony boxes where you buy the little Tonys and put them on the box, kind of like that. So that's also where I want to take this.
Yeah, because that was gonna be my next question as well, like the projection. And that's such innovative idea, because why the product cannot be transformed in a way that leverage that itself that is already. And especially in books, the reason is because when we read a book, we tend to leave it, right? We use it and leave. It's like a one-time experience.
Right.
And with kids, we read them more, but at some point it gets there, right? But what if we could reuse it and bring it to life somehow to use it even more? I feel that that's such a great idea. Wow, I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for your innovation and your creativity. It's amazing.
Well, I can't wait to get you some books for your kids, and then you can tell me what they think of them.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fantastic, because the whole experience is different, as you mentioned. It's not the regular book, it's not the regular media. We're even inventing what type of new media is coming here. And
Right.
of course you're an example of that. And so in terms of the technology, now we're working with the phone, with working, you're doing the illustration and all of this process that takes to publishing in regular stores, which is another layer that comes. I guess you already have experience with that. But in terms of that projection, where do you see Magic Portal Books going beside using the QR codes that work as the little DVDs? Where do you see it going, or
Right.
iterating? What are you excited about?
I'm excited about new technologies. So as these platforms get better, there's going to be even more that we can do with it. I've already got in some where you can play with the little model, a 3D, or have a coloring page, and you can color the character, and then it comes to life in the colors that you make it, and on the table you can play with it. So as things become available and the technology gets more reliable and faster, and I can stream more and more data, then those are some of the things I know I can do. Ultimately, I think it would be awesome if there was a way to leave a mark in the experience. If you're a kid, right, and or your son and daughter, and I send them this book, Sherman, a Tucson tortoise, and they're in the experience, but in that experience is a map of the world, a globe, and they can spin it around, and then they can put a pin in that map that says, we live here and we are teleporting to Tucson through the magic portals. And so eventually, all kids all over the world would leave their little mark on where they lived, for that particular book. I want to do outer space. I want to do the ocean. I want to do the human body. We want to do ancient history. So not only is the technology unlimited, so is the subject matter.
Wow, that's amazing, because it seems there are so many possibilities, right? and I'm pretty sure they would love it. It's a matter as well of time, with the technology being more available and people being familiar, which is related a little bit with the challenge number one that you described. People being more often exposed to the technology, knowing what it is, how to use it, and the value of it, because that's maybe about the challenge number two. So
Yes.
I think it's gonna take some time, a little bit, until we get there. But we're seeing it now. We see the iterations that we had. We see now, for example, people that traditionally were creating this type of materials for regular medias like written or graphics, and now using artificial intelligence models. So all of these things are going super fast now, and we hope that it becomes more available, and that more people can start to see the value and how that enhances our lives.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Teachers like it too.
Yeah.
Teachers really like it a lot. It's
Mhm.
great for curriculums, but again, yeah, we'll get there. Sorry, that's the dog.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Yeah. So the last question that I like to make you is, okay, so now you have the books and the kids can come, they can scan it. Do you have any particular coming up experiences that are not necessarily maybe projected in the future, that don't necessarily work with phones, but any other devices or any other new things coming up, or what are your plans?
I'm hoping that, if they do get AR glasses and we can finally
Mhm.
get rid of phones, which I would like, I have to carry the thing around. Uh, I think it should work just fine
Mm.
in that as well. Um, but that's a great question. I'm kind of hoping to get through step one of let's just get some sales so that
Mhm.
because I'm ending up being a starving artist after all,
Mhm. Yeah.
after all that.
Yes, 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 for sure. A promotion, actively promoting, and all
I'd
of that helps.
right.
Yes.
I'd
Mhm.
like to pay myself. That would be
Mhm.
nice. Oh, I do want to the other piece of it is, ultimately I had wanted to build this to fund a nonprofit education foundation.
Mhm.
But I don't think that I want to run the education foundation. So I want to partner with some education foundations that I think are good. And so um, we will, as this starts to grow and I can start donating to the foundations specifically that serve underserved communities. And my ask for that is I would love to have a curriculum in high school where I can take kids all the way through, a small group. They come in the first year, they learn how to learn about something. What is it that they're interested in and how to write a story about it. And then the second year would be how do we illustrate that? Right? How do we put books together? How do we get them printed? And then the
Mhm.
third year would be how do we make the digital experience? How do we do the digital content? How do we work on this, WebXR platform, right? And put all that together for their book. And then the fourth year would be they would learn sales and marketing and budgeting and finance and supply chain and contracting and all the other business stuff that is associated with it. So all the things that I had to learn how to do myself to get this to work, I think would be phenomenal. Then those kids really have, I mean, they've got some marketable skills at the
Mhm.
end, whether they go to college or not, right? They've now have, they should have skill sets in a lot of different areas, but they should also be able to have found their passion, right? And I really loved the writing part, or I really loved the art, or I really loved the XR, right? Or I really loved the bean counting and
Mhm.
and the finance piece, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah,
Right.
wow, that sounds like a beautiful aim because it's a little bit in the socially conscious aspect of what it means to have a business that you also feel that it's making an impact, a positive impact in the society, and you feel aligned with all of those values and you feel happy because you are giving yourself and also at the same time you're seeing the results of that. So it's a beautiful aim, and I really, really feel that it should happen in the way that you're proposing it because not only you're such a beautiful person, but your projects are amazing and your ideas towards the society are also in line. So thank you so much for sharing all of those beautiful aims. If people would like to get a hold of you or to get the books, how they can do that?
Yes, it's magicportalbooks.com. And I think it's Magic Portal Books on Instagram also.
Mhm.
And or you can email teleport at Magic Portal Books.
Oh, that's amazing. And so to get the books is just directly through you. Is that correct?
Yep, you can get
Mm.
them through me. I think you can also buy them directly from the store on Instagram as well,
Oh,
or the website. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, that sounds
Um,
fantastic. Is there anything else that you wish that I had asked you today, Ryan?
oh, no, but you're just great. you you are beautiful, and I'm just so happy that I got to meet you and talk with you today. And I can't wait to send you these books and see how your kids like them.
Thank you so much. That sounds so sweet, beautiful, amazing. We really wish a lot of blessings for you and for anybody who is listening and watching. Please share this episode. If you have kids or any of your family members have kids, please share this episode around or share the information about Ryon and the books so you can get to explore in a fun way right away. Your kids will thank you for it. Thank you so much and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.